go through it. I know it's a holiday, so were you working today?
No.
Okay, well, that's good. It seemed like I was at home today, so like I was going to spend the whole day hanging out with the family, which I did pretty much the whole day, but I had like a lot of work items that kind of stacked up on me, so I think I got like 4 hours off. Other than that, I was working.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's one of those days you don't anticipate, So anyway, let's go through this topic. I will talk about perform integrated change control. And for those of you who are listening to the recording, just know that this is probably one of the most important sections or processes that we talk about, because it's one of those that if you understand well, you can get a lot of questions right on the exam. I did well in monitoring and controlling, but I didn't do as well in executing. And it was because of monitoring and controlling that I passed the exam. So I want to make sure that I kind of give you my tips on that to give you some guidance. So first, let's go through the agenda real quick. And like I said, we don't keep these very long, but enough to go through and talk about the topics. So we're going to talk about presenting the topic, perform integrated change control, discuss some key terms. I've got some good ones for you today, and I got a couple of questions that I wrote during the day today. So I think you're going to like them. I think they're difficult, and that's the way we want them to be. So perform integrated change control. Let's start with the definition. One thing that I want to mention that I think I've talked about in previous sessions, and for those of you who have been to face-to-face courses, you've seen it, and that is that the project manager cannot or should not make unilateral decisions. If you want to mess things up on the exam, is you pick an option where the project manager acts without consultation. And if you do that, then that's obviously going to be the wrong answer. So there's always an answer for the project manager taking action to resolve a problem. It's just never going to be the answer. So, I mean, there's always an answer for it or an option, but it's not the right answer or the best answer. So what is perform integrated change control? So know that we are in the integration knowledge area, and we are in monitoring and controlling. So perform integrated change control is the process of reviewing all change requests. For the exam, know that change requests must be a formal process. So a change request is a formal process, not informal. So there has to be a formal way by which to manage changes. One other thing that I discovered while doing some reading over the weekend, and that is that there's something called a pre-change. I hadn't really thought about it, but a pre-change is a change that is submitted to the change control board but has not been reviewed as of yet. So let me repeat that. A pre-change, in case it comes up on the exam, is a change that has been submitted to the change control board but has yet to be reviewed by that body. Okay, so just FYI, things that I run across that I think might show up on the exam, and I want you to know what that is. So this board, the CCB, approves change requests and manages changes to deliverables, organizational process assets. So OPAs, organizational process assets, are like templates, policies, procedures, historical information. So we have something called enterprise environmental factors and also OPAs. And then we have project documents and the project management plan, communicating, and then also communicating their disposition. What does that mean? So it means, is the document updated? For example, the risk register of the document. What is the status of that document? Continuing, the key benefit of this process, perform integrated change control, is that it allows for documented changes within the project to be considered in an integrated fashion, which means that there is a formal process. Don't forget what I just said. In fact, I'm going to write it so you won't forget it here. The change control process is formal. Don't forget what I just said, okay? It'll help you on the exam. It is a formal process by which changes are managed. Not informal, it's a formal process. And what's the benefit? It reduces project risk, and that might arise from carrying out the project plan, the project management plan. All right, so again, there are 47 processes as of the writing of the PMBOK right now, 47 processes, and the new PMBOK, which is the 6th edition of the PMBOK, the next edition will be the 49 processes. So right now you don't have to worry about that because we're not there yet. So we only have to worry about 47. So I hope that those of you here, but then also those of you listening remotely or through the recording, that you take the exam within the next couple of months, and over the summertime you can knock it out and you'll be in pretty good shape. Okay, and you can stop me anytime you have questions, but I'm going to continue. So I got some key terms, and I found a good one that I wanted to share with you, and that's configuration identification. So first of all, I want to talk to you about what's called a CI, a configuration item. So a configuration item is anything that you wish to track. Okay, keep that in mind. A configuration item is anything you wish to track, including documents, people, buildings, anything. If you want to track it, it's called a configuration item. Okay, so don't forget, because this can come up on the exam, and if you're not ready, it can throw you off. So this is the identification and selection of a configuration item. So we identify a CI, which is anything we wish to track, and to provide the basis for which the product configuration is defined and verified, products and documents are labeled, changes are managed, and accountability is maintained. So here's an example of CIs that come from no, this doesn't come from the PMBOK. I found it somewhere else. So these are documents, software, models, plans, people, buildings, anything. If you wish to track it, it's a CI. It's a configuration item. Okay, so again, don't forget that you must identify it. So for example, you might have a software version 1, version 2, version 3, and so on. So a CI is anything you wish to track, and you keep it updated so that you know the status of it. I already mentioned the Change Control Board. The CCB is responsible for meeting and reviewing the change requests and approving or rejecting or other disposition of these changes, of those changes. So disposition, if you want a different word for that, status. Disposition is the status of a change. Okay, so just in case you want to, I'm sorry, the status of a CI, disposition. A change log is used to document changes that occur during a project. Rejected change requests are also captured in the change log. So a change log keeps track of all the changes that you have logged along the way. All right, 3 key terms. They all come from this process: perform integrated change control. Okay, so don't forget, let me go back and just explain this. Get this out of the way here. There are 10 knowledge areas. There are 5 processes and 47 process groups. 47 process groups. So this is the name of this process is perform integrated change control. It is in the monitoring and controlling process group, and it is a part of integration management. Okay, so for everything we do, just kind of orient yourself. Where are you? In the knowledge area, integration management. In the process group, monitoring and controlling, and there are 5. And then this is the name of the process is perform integrated change control. All right, good. Let's take a look at question number 1, and then I'll let you tell me what you think. So question number 1, a team member approaches the project manager to report that a mission critical machine is no longer functioning. The problem arose at a tough time because the manufacturing team requires this equipment to complete an order that is 2 months late, and any further delay will lead to the cessation of a multi-million-dollar contract. Okay, so what is the preferred? So this is what you have to look for here. What is the preferred action that the project manager should take in this situation? A, submit a change request to the Change Control Board and provide documentation to justify the need for the immediate reconciliation of this matter. B, advise the team member to procure a new machine from a reputable vendor. The contract work must be met. C, inform company executive that the contract will not be met and recommend contract termination. Or D, review the work breakdown structure to look for the best possible solution given the known circumstances. All right, so for those of you who can hear me, I don't know if a PO you're able to access, but which of these is not the answer? Let's start with the elimination. What can we get rid of here? Anybody?
Sorry, I was on mute. I guess we could get rid of B.
All right, B, let me take a look at B. Okay, good. Why, Holly? Why would you get rid of B? I agree with you.
Because we didn't go through any official change requests or anything like that.
Good. All right, so that's a good yes. We just told them, right? We just go do it, which is exactly what we're not supposed to do. All right, good. That's a good one. What else can you get rid of?
I would say C.
Yeah, and tell me why. C is not the answer. But why would you get rid of C?
Because we should try at least to look out for any other options that we can before we tell them that it can't be done.
Exactly. All right, that's a smart answer. All right, when are you taking the exam, by the way?
It's a secret.
Okay, here's a secret. Say it's going to be soon, right?
It's very soon. I'll say that.
That's a good answer, okay? Not a lot of people know that answer to be that the way you explained it, okay? That's why I knew you were close. All right. So now, since you're so smart, girl, what do you get rid of?
I want to say the answer is A.
All right. So you're going to get rid of D, right?
Right.
Let's look at D. Why would you get rid of D?
I guess because of given the known circumstances.
Yeah. And because going to look at the WBS and looking for the best possible solution is actually almost like A, just kind of making your own decision, right?
Yeah.
So think about that when you go take your exam. Just know that this person is basically saying, well, I'm going to go look at the WBS and then I'm going to decide what to do.
Right.
It looks a little bit more like a softer approach, but it's not. So the answer is A. Now, what I wanted to throw you off when I wrote this one today, this word immediate, because I've told you before not to select anything that has the word immediate, except for the way I worded it was that we were going to go to the change control board and then we were going to justify it through documentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Nice job. Okay, good. That was the answer. Now, I write these and I say possible rights, but everybody has their own perspective. You're just looking for that one. But process of elimination helps, right? When you go take your exam, that's what you're going to do. You want to go from, all right, so if you have four options. You want to immediately find the distractor, get rid of it. Now you're down to three. In most cases, there's another distractor that is really close to being bad. Find that one. You're down to two. You see, your chances of getting the right answer skyrocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so look for them. Remember, I'm taking the exam like you're going to. Look for the ones that you say, nope, cannot be. There's no way. All right, good job. All right, let's look at the one more. I wrote two today. So the customer is concerned that the status progress sessions from the last two meetings have been vague on previous projects. It was customary to receive earned value management updates and interpretations were provided by subject matter experts or the SMEs. What is the most likely, okay, so be ready for the exam, on the exam, most likely, what is the most likely reasons that status progress meetings are vague? Okay, A, the project is complicated, which limits the clarity of information. B, the team members are lacking EVM experience. C, the customer has failed to provide clear expectations regarding the type of reporting expected. And D, the information shared by the project team is unavailable or not timely. All right, so what are we going to get rid of here? Anybody? What's definitely wrong?
A.
Okay, the project is, okay, so tell me A is wrong, but tell me why. You're right. Why?
Because we should have clear information about what we're doing.
Right, but then go back a little bit further and get ready for this holiday. You're going to be taking an exam soon. Get ready, because nowhere did it tell us that the project was complicated.
Right, that too.
Okay, so be ready for that, because, in other words, don't make an assumption saying, yeah, it looks pretty tough, because they're subject matter experts. But they're subject matter experts to create a flyer. So A is gone. All right, so what else? Assuming what I just told you, A is gone, what else? This is a hard one, by the way.
I think B should go as well.
Okay, tell me why.
Because they previously got this information.
Okay, so that's a better answer than what I thought about too. So they did have it before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, honestly, how difficult is it to do EVM? There are 4 formulas, right? So honestly, how difficult is it? So, and nowhere were we told that the team members were incompetent with EVM. So, all right, so now you're down to 2, and what would you get rid of? What do you not have enough information to make an assumption?
I would say,
It's tough, right? I agree, it's tough. But think about this. Let me give you a hint, okay? So you got the customers failed. What's the problem if you look at here? The problem here is the big C word. What's the big C word?
Constraints.
Close.
Communication.
Yep. That's the big problem here. That's the problem. Look at it. Look at it closely. The problem is that the customer's not getting the information they want. So which of these 2 will make it easier for the team to provide the customer what they want?
Having clear expectations.
Right. You see how that question is answered?
Yeah.
Because now the problem, I told you Charlie Delta are hard. Yeah, I made those really close, but nothing told us that the information requested was unavailable. I didn't see anything in there about it. Did you?
No.
I didn't see it. So I can't make that. I mean, I can make the leap and think that that's the answer. It's just a false answer. So the best answer on the exam, look on the exam for an option that addresses the improvement of communication. If you find an answer on the exam that says because of better communication the issue was solved, that's the answer.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Were they hard or easy?
That second one was pretty difficult.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I thought it was harder than the first one, even though I kind of was trying to make the first one harder than the second one. So. All right, good. All right, so the plan then is any questions so far? Since you're going to be taking the exam sometime soon, any questions that I can help you with?
The only thing I can really think of is what should I do for, call it, the last 5 days before the test? Okay,
so what I would do is be very comfortable with page 61. Okay, yeah. Very comfortable. In fact, you should be able to go do the 5, 10, and the 47. You should be very comfortable with those. Okay. I would go and focus on these. I would focus on the following order of these knowledge areas: scope, time, and risk. Know these in order. Scope has 6. I think it has 6 processes. Time has 7. I think I could be wrong. And risk has 6. So go back and know those in the order that they're presented. Okay. So be comfortable with those because those come up a lot. If I were to spend a lot of time the day before or the week before the exam, here's where I would spend most of my time: scope and risk. That's where I would spend most of my time. Okay. Because they just encompass so much of the exam. So if you have time to go back and do some questions, do some reading, I would know these 2 pretty well. I know questions are divided, by knowledge, by process group and that, but I think that these 2 knowledge areas are so critically important to doing well on the exam. I would take questions. I would take sample questions, as many as you can, but the day before, like within 24 hours of the exam, I would no longer take any questions. I would not go through anymore. At that point, what you're doing is you're just going and reviewing notes. Go back and look at your orientation. Where are you? Think about what should the project manager do? How should the project manager handle the situation? First of all, as I said before, the project manager needs to be proactive. So select an option where the PM is proactive. Second, select an option where the benefit goes to the customer, not the benefit goes to the company. So that kind of mindset on the last day. Are you taking it in the morning or the afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Okay, so in the morning time, go through notes. Do not do any questions because, there are 200 questions that are waiting for you that afternoon. So go through notes, go through, don't kill yourself with a PMBOK at that point. You're not going to be, trying to learn something new. As far as the ITOs are concerned, look for the main ones. For example, if it starts with the word plan, like plan, risk management. Plan, risk management, that the output is always the risk management plan. So it's always a plan with an output. So for plan, schedule management, the output is schedule management plan, that kind of stuff. Also, the identify stakeholders. Identify stakeholders. The output is the stakeholder register. Identify risks. Identify risk. The output is the risk register. Those kinds of things. You see how I'm just kind of writing things down, get a scratch sheet of paper, and just kind of go through these things and just be running things through your head, thinking, okay, where does that relate? Even if nobody can make sense of it but you, that's what you need to be doing.
Okay.
And like I said, take sample questions, but don't take a ton the day before. In fact, after 24 hours, I would stop doing that. There's no benefit at that point. You're just basically clogging your brain at that time. All right, you're gonna let us know when you pass this thing?
I'll let you know.
Well, I'm happy for you, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right.
All right. Hopefully it goes well.
Well, I have confidence in it. All right. Well, I know it's a holiday, so we didn't get a great attendance as far as people, but that's okay. We'll send out the recording to everybody. All right.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thanks. Good night.
Bye.